Dobbo, it was Grimsby Town this weekend in League Two. Pretty decent, the home form this season generally. Having looked at them this week, what kind of test are you expecting?
You hit the nail on the head. They're a good side at the top end of the league for a reason. I watched their game against Manchester United in the Cup earlier in the season, and they were excellent on the night, thoroughly deserved their win. So we're well aware of the threats that they pose. Really bright attacking front five. So it'll be a good test for us, but we've had a good look at them and we feel that there's weaknesses that we can expose. So I'm expecting it to be a good game.
Does anyone come back into the fold? Is anyone definitely missing out? Are you able to kind of bring any injured players back into the squad?
Yeah, Marnie's back around the group now, which is good. We've missed him obviously. Leadership and strong influence amongst the group. So we'll see whether he starts or comes off the bench at the weekend, but he'll be around with us.
Just had Seb Palmer-Holden in here. He's known for his tenacity and chases absolutely everything. From a coach's perspective, he must be a fantastic forward to have as an option.
He is. He's a dream. Yeah. We looked at him towards the end of last season. Actually, I remember being on the coach and Andy Hessenthaler had sent me his name and said, "Can you have a look?" And we were travelling up somewhere up north, and I saw the clips of him. Watched on Y-Scout. We have Y-Scout, and I texted Andy Hessenthaler straight away and went, "I love him." And he said, "Well, speak with Joe Dunn." Joe had him at Newport for a while, so I phoned Joe and said, "Talk to me about Seb Palmer-Holden." And Joe went, "You'll love him." I said, "I do. Yeah, I do love him. He chases everything. He's energetic. He's going to have goals in him because he puts himself in goal scoring areas. But he's just got an enthusiasm and an energy about him that people warm to, whether it's teammates or those watching from the terraces. You can't help but like him because of his enthusiasm for the game and the energy that he puts into it."
Get Josh Andrews back this weekend, of course, having completed his suspension, so that's a good plus for you as well.
Yep. Josh gives us another option in attack, so we're pretty strong in that area at the moment. Seem to have everybody fit, I believe, at the moment, so it's a nice problem to have. Different types of players, different types of ways of doing it, and it's always good to be able to have that up your sleeve.
Lovely. Dobbo, best of luck. Thank you very much. Matt, all yours.
What Grimsby have done this season, beaten Manchester United, put 7 past Cheltenham a couple of weeks ago, then lost their last 2. Does that make them harder for you to scout? There seems to be a lot of different sides to that side. Yeah.
They're an interesting side. We've watched several of their games so far this season, and if you play the game on their terms, they're good. They've struggled a little bit with the teams that have played the game on their terms, and I think there's a 3-0 loss at Barnet in there somewhere along the way. So we've had a good look at what those teams have done to Grimsby and see if we can learn a little bit about that.
Looking back at Saturday and then the last 2 games, I think you've had so many chances, and obviously you want to convert as many as possible. Do you think sides in this division scouting year are now looking at blocking lower, perhaps catching on the break a bit like Cheltenham did?
Yep, I actually said to the boys about a month ago that this is what's going to happen. As we progress to the top of the league, I said the next phase for us is going to look a lot like we have to beat low blocks, particularly at home. So it's come as no surprise. We've actually been working on it on the training ground, and I think the encouraging thing at the weekend was the amount of chances that we created against a low block. The amount of balls that we got into good areas, and I think all that was missing really was the finishing touch, because we looked at it again and we looked at the chances we missed, and it was one of them ones where we go, "Oh my God, how do we miss that one? And how do we miss that one?" And just one of them days. I think on another day it could have been 4 or 5. So the work that we've done on the training ground is starting to reap its benefits. Tuesday's training session was up there amongst one of the best in 25 years of coaching. I loved it. I loved watching the boys, and when I talk about belief with the boys, we're in a decent position at the moment, so it's not a lack of belief. But when they start to really believe how good they can be and take the shackles off, as I saw on Tuesday, then I'm looking forward to the fans seeing that version of us.
That's great to hear, but also fascinating that you're having to keep one step ahead, I suppose, of looking what sides might do in ensuing weeks and putting that into training.
Yeah. You've got to look ahead, and you've got to understand that people are going to see you differently, sort of 10 games into the season. I think the first few games of the season, everyone wants to play their own game. And then when that league table starts to take shape, people tend to show you a little bit more respect when you're at the top end of the league. So I fully expected Cheltenham to come and play. I think I mentioned it in my press conference last week about a narrow back four and deep wingers, and there it was. So there's no surprises in that respect when clubs that are struggling a little bit come to you. They tend to show you a lot more respect, and a point's a great point for them to go away with, and they got a lucky point last weekend.
It's a battle of wits, I suppose, between you and Dave Artell, is it? But from a Grimsby point of view, I'm sure he'll be looking to outwit you on the similar level.
Yeah, absolutely. Every game is like that, and I've always been respectful with Dave Artell. I found him a decent guy whenever I've come across him. So it's been a little while since we've done battle, but it'd be good to see him. Every game's like that. There's a tactical battle of wits on the touchline, and there's a game going on in the middle of the park that sort of reflects that a little bit. So I'm looking forward to the challenge. It's going to be a very different type of game from last weekend. I would imagine a far more open game. Probably a good one for a neutral this weekend, and I just hope we come out on the right side of it.
Input from Gareth again this week?
Yep, we've had him on the Zoom call on Tuesday. He's obviously getting bored now because he's watching a lot of opponents' games. So we spoke about what we had seen, and interesting enough, Pete Gill made the point. He said, whilst we're sat here watching games of our opponents, we're talking and feeding off each other, and Gaz isn't getting that whilst he's watching the game. So it was really interesting for us to see if he was going to come back with similar comments or different, and actually he saw very much the same as us in Grimsby. So we've put that into practice today on the training ground. I'll probably give him a call in an hour or two, have another catch up with him then. He's desperate to get involved, obviously still limited, but it's nice that it's given him something to do at home.
That's good to hear. And your third, Grimsby at a fifth, can you see them being in the shake-up at the end of the season? I know you'll want to be.
Yeah, they had a good season last season, didn't they? Just fell away at the end, so I expect them to build on last season. They clearly have done. They've got good players, and in Vernon they've got somebody who's really in form at this moment in time in terms of assists and goals. I expect them to be around the top end of the league with the attacking players that they've got, and particularly their home form being as strong as it is. You can see them being one of the challengers, certainly in the top 7.
I know you all talked about a 2-year project, and I think everyone accepted that when you and Gareth came on board. But given the start you've had, has that changed targets, changed expectations for you?
No, because I think the club has probably been outcome driven for a little bit too long, and that might be one of the problems. I think we've got to stick to a process and stop chasing outcome all the time. If you get the process right, the outcome will happen. But for too long we've spoken about promotion, and then seem to have got further and further away from getting there. So for us, it's very much about each game, each week, each day, making sure the processes are right, and hopefully over time that'll take us to where we need to be. But we're certainly not putting a time scale on that, because we've got a lot of work to do. We know where we are in that process. We're delighted to be where we are in the league, but there's still so much to come. We're a long way away from the ceiling with this group of players. And
a bit further ahead, the draw away to Newport in the FA Cup. I'm not sure whether that favours you. What did you feel when the ball came out there?
I'm very matter of fact about these things. It's another League Two side, and ideally you want to play someone outside of your league, but we know that we can go there and win, having done it recently. They've obviously had a difficult season. It all changes when it comes to cup games, and I've seen sides that had horrible seasons suddenly turn on good performances in the cup when the pressures are different. So we're well aware of their strengths, having played against them. They were very good against us for 20-25 minutes in that game. It is who it is. You get who you get, and we just got to go there and do the job professionally.
Were you all together when the draw was done? Was a management group or with the players?
No, but the management group suddenly got a bit busy, got a bit lively that evening. We're obviously in our homes and with our families and whatever, but there's always comments about it, and it could have been worse. We could have been somewhere really far up north. At least we're sort of southern based. Ideally you want a home game in the cup, but it wasn't to be, and we'll take it.
And you're taking a lot of fans again to Grimsby. I mean, Gills away support has been outstanding. We more or less mention it every week because of that. But again, you're on a run of 3 without a win, you might say, in the league. But what does that support mean, particularly a long way away?
Oh, it's massive. It's massive. The numbers compared to the home crowds are huge that we take away. It's a huge percentage of our home support that tend to travel, and they're not small journeys either. You know, they're longer journeys. Grimsby's 4 hours, maybe more for the fans. So for them to travel like they do in the numbers that they do means so much to everybody here, and particularly the players. You know, sometimes we talk to the players about inspiring the people around the club, and we want them to inspire the fans. But sometimes it might need the players that need a little bit of inspiration, and you know, we might need to call on the fans to get us through the tough periods. So we work in tandem. You know, we feel that the fans are very much part of us and what we do. That's the way that we want to approach things going forward, and we hope that everybody maintains a positive mindset, positive spirit, and I think a club full of positivity will achieve its goals ultimately.
Okay, have a great trip the weekend.
Thank you.
You mentioned Tuesday's training and how good that was. What did you like about it so much? Was it like the enthusiasm, the sort of
everything? As a coach, you're constantly assessing what you're seeing in front of you, and attitude was first class. There was a competitiveness about it that didn't spill over into anything untoward. So they were really competitive in the way that they trained. The standard, the quality, for me, I'm big on creativity and players expressing themselves, and they did that on Tuesday. It's something that I keep talking to them about, because I love people. I love people showing the best version of themselves, and I think there's a lot of footballers that probably play football, get to the end of their careers and go, I wish I'd expressed myself more, I wish I'd let myself play this pass a little bit more, or try this trick in the right areas or whatever. I want the players to show what they've got, what they've spent years practicing when it comes to 3 o'clock on a Saturday. So to see them play as well as they did on Tuesday in a really competitive environment, and they come off the training pitch buzzing. It was great to see their faces. The final little game that we did ended up as a draw, and they don't like draws in training, and I pulled them in and they, can we have another game, and I said no, because today's football's the winner, and it was. It was a wonderful day, a small snapshot of our lives, to our window of training, but just I went home absolutely buzzing with it, as good as I felt for a long time in training. So I hope that we can recreate that in our gameplay more and more often. That's why we train, and I hope that the fans get to see a little bit of what I saw on Tuesday.
I thought you'd have a penalty shootout or something to decide it, mate.
No, we didn't go down that route. We kept it as a draw, so everyone went home happy, I think.
We can hear that. I think they're in the gym or having a dance workshop. I'm not sure what they're doing, but we can hear their enthusiasm from the players downstairs. I mean, you've got that in the group, haven't you?
Yeah, and you're right. You can hear the noise about it. I like it. The energy brings noise, and the emotion of it all is really good at the moment. So they're a really good group to work with, really good people, which is something that we, first and foremost, we wanted to cement the team around good people, and we've certainly got that. That was a lot of the 9 games at the end of last season was that part of that process to see who the people were behind the players. They're a great group to work with, honest, hard-working bunch. What I really love about the place, and you can't say this about everywhere, the players desperately want to play for the club. They desperately want to build something that represents this club, and I think for so many players, they're just on a journey and the badge changes and it doesn't mean a great deal. I think they all want to be here and they all want to do something together, and that means a lot to us, and hopefully it means plenty to them. I know it does.
And you mentioned you've got your skipper back as well, and you've got Josh back. You've got these choices to make now. Yes,
yeah. Not quite my choice. Gaz is still making those choices, so we'll have another conversation. We had a tentative conversation about the team and the squad Tuesday and what that might look like. But I'll report back to him and let him know how training was today, and we'll sort of make the final decision today on what that's going to look like at the weekend. I said to the boys today, the toughest thing is, and this is really harsh, we're going to have to leave people out of the squad, and they've trained superbly. So you can't say you need to up your game in training and that's why you're not in. They've got every right to be disappointed if they're not in the squad because they've trained so well. It's the tough reality of football sometimes, that sometimes there's just people ahead of you that are doing really well and you can't displace them. Great for us when that's the situation. It's horrible when you've got to try and chase it a little bit when you're having poor results and the players aren't playing well, and you've got to keep rotating to try and find something that works. That's not a good situation for coaches. But in this situation, it's a really nice problem to have, that you could pick any of them at the moment, and they're all playing very well.
Aaron Rowe wasn't featured the other day. Was that someone that's just missed out? Or
No, he caught a little bit of an injury, not too bad. So we're hoping that within the next week to 10 days he'll be back with us again. So it wasn't one that we were going to risk the other day. I think the nice thing from Aaron's point of view, certainly refreshing for me, is that he said, come to me and said, I want to play Saturday, and I said, I don't think you're going to be allowed. Like, we need to get a scan. The scan come back. There was a little bit of something in there, but he was still adamant that he wanted to contribute, which is great. It's exactly what you want.
Is Gareth Cleary, how is he going?
He's slight problem with his calf. I think was it a Harrogate game. Thought he might have got a kick afterwards, and he's just carried that through. So it's a slight problem with his calf, but hopefully he won't be too long. Maybe a couple of weeks. Fingers crossed. We'll see how that one progresses.
I think Ewan Williams was due to come back soon. Maybe that JPT game didn't. Is he? How is he going?
Yeah, he's. The doctors just put the reins on him a little bit. So I think it was best case scenario for him to do that. He's not quite there just yet. Obviously, got to be careful with something like that. But he's in training. He looks sharp. He just can't do contact at this moment in time. So we're just waiting for the green light for him to get into contact with people. And the good thing is he's doing everything else. So we're kind of. He's always the floating player in possession drills, and on the outside, and a bounce man. And we've got him involved in as much as we possibly can without taking him to that next step. So we just wait for the green light.
Thank you.
How much did you enjoy Saturday?
I enjoyed Saturday until they scored. And then you go, how the hell are we losing this game? I saw, when you take the emotion out of it, I saw loads and loads of positive stuff that we've been working on in the training ground coming to fruition within the game. So I spoke at MK Dons about us being passive and slow with our passing first half. I thought we were quick, sharp, forward thinking with our attacking play. I think we could have been 3 up in the first 15 minutes or so. But we were like that throughout the game, so it never really tailed off, and we created chances throughout each stage of the game. So I was delighted with that. On another day, one or two might fall kindly for us. A few too many shots straight down the middle and straight at the goalkeeper, unfortunately. But pleased with the progress that we're making from that side of things in terms of our style of play.
Was there any extra butterflies in your stomach when you got up Saturday morning?
No, someone asked me this after the game and said, is it different? To be honest with you, it's not a great deal different whether you're assistant or manager. You're still seeing the same things in the game, you're still thinking the same way. The only difference is that now I'm the one making the decision, whereas I would normally be saying to Gaz, I think we need to change this or we need to try this. But I've made them recommendations since we've been here during games. I really love the tactical side of the game, and I think it's an area that I'm quite strong on. And so when we've played games earlier in the tenure, and I've said to Gaz, listen, we need to change this here, or I think we need to change the shape or something like that, and Gaz has done it, and people won't necessarily know that was my input, but the only difference now is instead of running it by Gaz, I'm sort of saying to Pete Gill, this is what I'm thinking, let's make these changes.
And how good has Pete and others been since Gaz?
The staff have been excellent. They're a really good group. I like them. I mean, we inherited a lot of them. Pretty much in the same way as we had with the players. We were given the choice that if you want to go ahead with this group of staff, you can do. If you want to make any changes, you can do. And for us, once we got to know the people, we were more than happy to go ahead with what we've got. They're good. The staff are good here, really enthusiastic. And again, it's really nice that you've got people like James and Minty and that who have been around the club for a long time that are real Gillingham people. I think it counts for a lot when you've got people that know the background of the club, that sort of the blue blood runs through their veins a little bit. I think it's important to have staff like that amongst your team. So for us it was nice because we got a feeling of people that have been here for a period of time and understand the club and the background of the club that helped us settle in a lot quicker.
I know you said to us you've spoken to Gareth 2 or 3 times. Any disagreements yet?
No, we discuss, we talk all the time. On a touchline on a match day, we're in constant communication, we're just talking for 90 minutes. which is okay here because the dugouts are quite small and the technical area is quite small. We can talk, sometimes you've got them about 20 yards apart, and this new rule, which I just find ridiculous, where the manager's placed at the front of the technical area and he can't come and speak to you, or you can't go and speak to him. I just find it ludicrous. You know, from a mental health point of view, sometimes the managers are are going through a difficult time and they need someone alongside them to support them. And when they're stood on the edge of that technical area on their own, that's quite a lonely place. I read Gaz a lot. I read his body language. I listen to his choice of language. So there's times when I might go, Gaz needs a little bit of support here and a little bit of help. And I'll step forward to help him. And sometimes that's sharing the defeats together, you know, because the managers take that defeat. And when they're stood on the technical area on their own out the front there, that's all on one person's shoulder. So from time to time, I'll try and get out there with him and share it just to take that burden off him a little bit. But yeah, we have disagreements. At the end of the day, I respect that he's the manager. I said, I think from the first press conference, that I would always be respectful of his role here. I haven't come in and changed anything. I didn't want to make it about me. It was always about us, and with total respect to Gaz's role here.
And how good was it to see Brad last weekend?
Brilliant, yeah. Like, I love Brad and Shannon. They're just great people, you know, really top people. And I've said it in the past, I'm going to say it again. This club is very fortunate to have two people that have embraced what this club is all about as much as they have. And it's not just about the people in connection with this club. It's the wider community outside it. It's the engagement with the fans that they bring to the club. I think they're first-class owners. And when you look around the Football League and some of the owners that have been at clubs that have sort of run them into the ground or whatever, we've got really top owners at this football club, and I think we should cherish them.
Thanks a lot, Michael.
Thanks very much.
Dobbo, thank you so